course I miss you, darling. This is the loneliest place on Earth. Most exciting thing ever happens here is the day when it don't rain. Excuse me, darling, I got some work to do. What the heck is that? Get on in here, Pete. We got us a big old asteroid on a 3-week collision course with Earth.
The asteroid has been named Attila, after the war leader of the Huns, who devastated Europe just before the fall of the Roman Empire. Attila was first spotted in a tracking station in Borneo. According to NASA sources, the probability of impact with Earth is 99%.
5, 4, ignition, 2, 1.
The shuttle is up and away. This is not a mission the shuttle was designed for, but as Mission Commander Boston Lowe said in the press conference last night,
if the shuttle is the last hope of the human race, then it'll have to do the job, won't it? Wait a minute, folks. Let me introduce the landing team. Ludger Brink is a noted geologist. He'll evaluate our data on placement of the nuclear devices.
We have to be accurate. The idea isn't to blow Attila to bits. If we did, some of the pieces would certainly hit Earth with devastating effect.
And now I hardly have to introduce Maggie Robbins to you. She's probably the most well-known journalist in the world.
Maggie, you're famous for having once said that you never put up with censorship in any form. Now you're under NASA command.
Miss Robbins is a reporter by vocation, but on this mission she's...
I think I can answer the question myself, Commander Lowe. Danny, I trained for this mission, and I have work to do in laying the nuclear charges. When I come home, I'll be a reporter and tell you all about it. But during the mission, I'm part of the team, and I will obey Commander Lowe like any good soldier.
That may be the biggest news story of all. Maggie Robbins obeys orders.
In going over your bios, I find that Professor Brink is also a noted archaeologist, while it's well known that Maggie is a prodigy at learning new languages. Is this just coincidence?
Not at all. We wanted the best and the brightest for this mission. Dr. Brink and Ms. Robbins are not narrow specialists. They are resourceful, widely educated, and creative thinkers.
Does that apply to you too, Commander Lowe?
My job is to keep everybody alive. I don't have to be brilliant. I just have to be careful. The other 2 crew members will remain with the shuttle. Ken Borden is the most experienced shuttle pilot we have. Cora Miles is our payload specialist. As you all know, she's a candidate for Congress, but we figured saving the planet is more important than campaigning.
It's cheaper, too.
Any parting message for the people of Earth?
We have exactly 1 chance. And we've got to do it right. Let all your prayers be with us.
Low here. Come on out, kids. The water's fine.
Robbins here. Going independent.
Welcome to the wonderful world of space. Don't bump into anything.
I'll be careful, Commander.
Brink here, going independent.
Howdy, Brink. Welcome to the place where geology and astronomy meet.
A professor once told me, astronomers are geologists with clean hands and a squint.
You going to quote him on that in some magazine, Robbins?
I'm just part of the landing team right now, Commander Lowe.
Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play The Dig. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Produced by LucasArts way back in 1995. I used to spend hours playing this game. Oh my gosh, so much. It's a classic point and click. I move the protagonist around and sometimes he gets followed around. By the way, if the protagonist sounds familiar to you, that's because it's, I believe the name is Robert Patrick, which you may know as the T-1000 in Terminator 2. And also, if Brink over here happens to sound familiar, he is played by the ever-talented Stephen Blum. Not that there really isn't anyone that is not talented produced or included in this game, but yeah, this is one of the best made games of all time. In my humble opinion, I suppose. Anyway, allow me to introduce you to the interface. First of all, I'm going to make a slight adjustment with the text speed, since it's going a mite slower than I had hoped it might go. And yeah, this is the standard. Actually took me a slightly different interface for me to get used to, because I'm used to the Sierra layout. I had to hit F5 to access this, so it's a slightly different thing that I'm used to. Anyway, we have an inventory, which is this little gray box button down here, and we don't have all that much yet. We have a flashlight and an arming key, the Pen Ultimate, which is basically an iPhone before there were iPhones, and the Examine, which is, of course, a magnifying glass. Oh, and if you hover too much outside of the inventory, it automatically closes it. The way that you interact with things, obviously, is you click on them. But let's see, let's engage in conversation with someone, with Maggie Robbins over here.
Robbins, this is Lowe. Do you read?
Robbins here. What is it?
Now, the way that the conversation, the dialogue is usually handled in these LucasArts games, at least as far as I've seen, I haven't played a lot of them, I admit, I know for shame. You have a couple of different interrogative options here, and then you have subjects that show up with little pictures. And as more subjects pop up, they will fill in the rest of these little blanks, and you can even scroll. And this indicates to stop talking. So let's ask her a few questions, shall we?
Getting anything juicy for your first article?
I'm not writing my article right now, Commander Lowe.
But as long as this doesn't go completely doled out blue, we can still keep asking her questions.
This is all pretty dull so far, Robbins. I hope you can find something interesting for your lead.
Commander Lowe, am I doing something wrong?
No, I'm just trying to be friendly.
And I'm trying to be a good crew member. Can't you forget for even 1 second that I'm a reporter?
And that actually does come up at least a few more times before this game is through, that he keeps treating her like a reporter before he does one of his teammates. But let's ask her another question.
Just want to make sure you're having a wonderful time, Robbins.
I'm very, very happy, Commander Lowe.
So now that's finally dulled out to that little blue color. But we can say something profound, which is not always something profound, as I've found in this game.
Have you looked up at the Earth yet, Robbins?
Oh, is that big blue thing the Earth?
Some people get vertigo when they realize that they're hanging upside down 200 miles over the ocean.
Do some of them throw up? what you want me to do?
I thought it was something you might want to write about.
I actually had a pretty good career as a writer before I had you to think up ideas for me, Commander.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be able to let that go.
I just want you to be happy, Robbins. So you'll write nice things about us.
I'm very, very happy, Commander Lowe.
And sometimes some dialogue options will repeat, but the reason that we still have this open is that he'll say something a little bit different even if she responds exactly the same way.
I hope you're still happy, Robbins.
I'm very, very happy, Commander Lowe.
And now we're out of things to randomly spout at her and harass her with. Well, at least on those fronts. But we can ask her about Brink.
What do you think of our archaeologist, Brink?
I'm very impressed with his experience. He headed the U.S. Geological Survey team that mapped the surface of Venus.
Wow.
He'll be taking a close look at the asteroid to make certain the detonation points they've chosen are suitable.
Okay. And the flying pig. More on that once we actually get to it, but let's ask her opinion on it.
See that big tool chest? We call it the pig.
Why?
I've logged 100 hours working with every tool in the pig, Commander Lowe.
So you don't need to introduce her to it. Oh, we can still ask her something else about it.
Everything okay with the pig?
As far as I can see, Commander.
Okay, so now we've officially run out of things to talk with her about, so let's stop talking to her.
Blow out.
But we can always harass Brink.
Low to Brink. Come in, Brink. Brink here.
And he's... pretty much the characters are a lot of fun to talk with, and you may notice that the humor in this game is a lot more dry and a little bit more serious. The theme overall, the mood, tends to be a lot more cinematic and serious. There's still sarcasm and there's still humor, but this game actually takes itself very seriously, which is a little bit different from other LucasArts games. But let's ask Brink a question.
Are you getting a good look at the asteroid, Brink?
I have hardly looked at anything else, Commander.
Ask a dumb question.
Have you noticed anything unusual?
No one has ever been this close to an asteroid before, Commander. I cannot possibly know what is usual or unusual.
Is there anything that should make us reconsider the placement of the charges?
The original choice of quadrant seems adequate, Commander.
And we'll find out more about the quadrants once we actually go over to the asteroid.
Do you see any problems, Brink?
As you Americans might say, Commander, we will kick Attila's butt.
Fantastic. But let's say something profound.
Happy to set foot on a new world, Brink?
Attila is a very old world, Commander. It is merely new to us.
True.
Let me know if you see anything unusual with the asteroid.
No problems yet, Commander.
Okay, so let's ask him about Robins, because we're endlessly curious about what everyone else thinks of everyone else. And unlike in, say, Dragon Age Origins, we don't get people constantly talking about each other behind your back.
What do you think of our star reporter?
Very unorthodox, bringing a reporter on a space mission. But she is very capable, and she writes interesting stories.
I don't think the point of it is for her to write interesting stories, but...
Everything okay with the pig?
Everything's fine as far as I can see, Commander.
Yeah.
Miles can tell you more than I can.
And by the way, that's a bit of a hint that if you ever wanted to discuss more about the pig, that you should contact...
Blow out.
Cora Miles. And the way that you contact people still on the ship is using the Pen Ultimate. Now, this brings up a very interesting interface. This is actually a mini-game within the game. That's right. They did so, and I'll show that off at some other point. But let's look at the communications. So, Here we have Brink and Maggie, which, if we were to try and contact it, would probably just leave the screen and go to talking to them. This is Borden. He is, or Ken Borden, he is the pilot. So let's have a chat with him.
Borden, this is Lowe. Do you read?
I'm here, boss.
Let's poke him with questions.
Are we in position, Ken?
Attila's given us less gravity than I expected, but the attitude jets are compensating.
Gravity, huh? That's kind of odd.
You're saying Attila is less massive than we expected.
Hey, maybe Attila's nothing but a big old bubble. How do we know what's inside an asteroid?
Well, there are ways to find out, but at any rate.
Let me know if you notice something that would change our mission parameters.
Sure thing, boss. Right now, Attila's sleeping like a baby.
Just slowly drifting towards Earth on collision course. But of course, never mind that things tend to move at the speed of plot in this game, so we have all the time to chat with people that we want.
You ready for us to part company, Ken?
Everything's in position, boss.
And then we can ask him about the pig.
Any problem with us taking the pig now, Ken?
Just tell Miles and you can take the little squealer to market.
Oh, let's ask him about the pig again.
This is one big ugly pig.
Is that why Cora always calls it her baby?
Oh!
I heard that, Ken.
Yeah.
Low out.
And there's a lot of playful banter throughout this game. So let's go to Cora Miles, because we need to speak with her about the pig.
Miles, this is Lowe. Do you read?
Ah.
Yeah, Boston, I'm on you.
I like...
In your dreams.
I like her, and clearly she and Boston have a bit of a history. I think it's very cute. And let's poke her with some questions. And they have some of the best banter. It does get a little bit repetitive here, but her replies are some of the best in the game.
How's the congressional campaign going without you?
Well, my opponent is demanding equal time in space.
With or without a suit?
Just don't screw up the mission, Boston, and I'll be in Congress next January.
Yeah. I imagine there's nothing that really helps your campaign than helping to save the Earth from what would probably be a very catastrophic event.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
Till my opponent offers you more money.
Ooh.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
Only if you move to Mississippi, Boston.
And yeah, he says the same thing each time, but like I said, her responses are worth it.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
Maybe if somebody helps you figure out the levers in the voting booth.
Ooh, snap. And her lips kept moving after she was done talking.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
Oh, you finally learned how to make an X.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
Oh, I've already got the aging astronaut vote locked up.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
And I haven't even paid you your dollar yet.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
Just don't tell anyone else, Boston. It might cost me the election.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
It's no use, Boston. I'm not gonna make you head of NASA.
Oh, darn.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
You can vote for me 20 times, Boston, and I still won't marry you.
Curses! I totally ship them.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
I bet you say that to all the candidates.
Only the ones that come into space with me.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
Does this mean you've forgiven me for putting a leak in your catheter on your first launch?
Ooh. Oh my.
I just want you to know you've got my vote, Cora.
And that's the last time you can prod her on that front. So let's, instead of, saying the same thing over and over and over again, say something profound.
We're ready when you are, Cora.
Yeah, that was
Just
profound.
Give the word, Boston, and you got yourself a pig.
Lovely. So we've run out of profound things to say, so let's poke her about the pig.
Ready for the deployment of the free fall tool chest.
Is the crew clear of the area?
No, I'm kind of hovering over it.
Crew is clear. Proceed.
And this game does a really good job of combining the 3D animation with the 2D animation. The 2D animation is actually among the most advanced I ever saw. I think this was like right before they were making the switch to complete 3D animation in video games. It was around that time anyway. And the 2D animation is really smooth throughout this game. They added a lot of details to that actually didn't exist, that really were not put into a lot of games.
Everything fine with the pig, Cora?
Looking sweet, Boston. You just be good to my baby.
Alright, so now that we have the pig, let's go and take that over to the asteroid.
Load a landing team. I'm taking the pig down to the surface. Follow me.
You be good to my baby, Boston, you hear me?
Yes, we heard so.
We'll be back soon, Cora. Try not to miss me too much.
Oh.
Blow out.
The two really are very sweet. And the pig is actually very useful. You notice the little light it has on it. Okay, so let's actually go check out the flying pig and everything that it has. Oh, I actually have to click on it again. So, Explosive Unit Alpha, which we're going to want to put in our inventory, and that's how we put it away. Or I think we could just, I think I could just right-click on it too. Does that? Yeah, it does. The 0G Digger. Very useful little tool. And of course a shovel. We need shovels. Shovels are absolutely essential in adventure games. So, we're currently hanging out in Quadrant 1. There are actually 4 quadrants, as you might have inferred from Quadrant, that we're actually going to be concerned with, and actually even Quadrant 4 has nothing. Don't believe me? Let me waste your time by showing you. This game actually does have a lot of moments where it takes them a while to travel to a new area, which it works in a lot of ways because it actually shows off the terrain and shows off some beautiful background art. I really give a lot of credit to the developers of this game for all of the work that they put into it. So let's actually go to Quadrant 2. That is kind of where we need to start. Come on, guys, you can make your way up there. I realize you're in spacesuits, but this is a video game. You have to cater to what I want you to do. And you have to do it quickly. So, this is where we're going to be setting the first charge. So, as you can see, the cursor highlights blue whenever something is interactable, and target surface.
It's where Explosive Alpha should be placed.
Should be. But it doesn't look like there's a... It looks like it doesn't... I don't know.
It's where Explosive Alpha should be placed.
Okay. So that's where I need to place it. Let's take Explosive Unit Alpha. And combine that with the target surface.
The ground's too rough to attach the charge.
It's too rough? Well... If you ever need... Well, actually, that's a pretty good place to cut the video off, so thank you for tuning in to this installment of Let's Play the Dig. I hope to see you next time, where we start placing these explosives and hopefully deter this asteroid from hitting Earth. So, hope to see you then.